Invisible Touch, that's Genesis. It's Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. And for any of you that saw my little intro video, sorry if that was like weird. I don't know how really to release videos and not just make them get pushed out. Sometimes I'm like, just let people find this. I don't necessarily want everyone to see it. But anyway, funny how it plays out that way. Why change scares us? And I think this leads into a couple little small topics. I hope you give me a little bit of time on this one. Not planning on taking too much of it, mind you. But change scares a lot of us for a number of reasons. We don't really know what to expect. Obviously, we're asking for these manifestations to occur in our life, and we're creating great change. But sometimes there's life aspect changes of it too. There's the parts of us that need to kind of personally change. Many of us might be holding some regret, some anger, some sort of ill-leveled feelings, ill direction. I don't know, like feelings that aren't good, right? And when you're having these kinds of feelings, it usually indicates that some sort of alternate approach needs to be looked at, needs to be tried. And for a lot of us, maybe we're really dead set on a specific path, a specific something that we're going to manifest, right? And being very, very focused on that specific thing sometimes can, if we expanded that specificity a little bit, if we expanded our view a hair and maybe allowed a little more light in rather than just that tunnel vision, right? That sometimes that's what's needed, and you'll feel disharmony. You'll feel something that just like, this just doesn't feel right. And it's okay when that happens. It doesn't mean things aren't going to work. It doesn't mean you still can't manifest. But there are going to be times where we're going to need to walk down avenues that might seem contrary to what we're trying to manifest. Maybe you're having issues and it's been a while, right? And there's some anger between you and there's a breakup or something along those lines. Maybe they have dated someone else. Maybe you've got this opportunity. You've got this really nice guy that maybe wants to go out with you. And you feel guilty because you want to manifest your specific someone, and you feel like if going out with someone else might tell the universe that I'm not interested in him still. Well, you tell the universe what you're interested in, not just by your actions, because you can gain stuff from going out with an individual and having a good time. There's nothing wrong with that in the big picture. Maybe your specific person's in the process of understanding a few things. Maybe through this experience, you're understanding more. Like here I had a guy, let's use one example of the dating thing. We have a guy, takes you out, just a wonderful time, treats you like a gentleman, nothing expected, a hug, maybe a little peck on the lips, whatever. And you had a wonderful evening, and it was very interesting, and maybe you want to go out a second time. And after going out with them a couple times, you're like, yeah, and both of you come to an agreement that maybe you're not in the same place. Maybe you're both not ready to have the same level of relationship because of things, and you both agree to that, right? Like maybe he's got kids, and you live too far away. It's just, like whatever, and you're just like, you're right. But you get this experience and you kind of understand better what you deserve and what would be awesome in a relationship. And maybe your SP wasn't doing that at the time, but maybe you can enhance your imagery or your imaginal work to include that now. That's one thing that can certainly make a huge difference. And also, maybe they're dating someone else for the same thing, to learn how to treat a lady. Sometimes guys need that experience. Sometimes they need to experience someone else just so they can kind of refine themselves, if you will, and learn some certain things. Now, I want to bring up one famous comedian, and this is just kind of a good example of something where this guy's name is Bobcat Goldthwait. He was a comedian from the 80s. And he was in Police Academy 1, and he did this voice, like this, he's like, that was his thing. That was his shtick. And it was a caricature. It wasn't real, but he did comedy that way, and that was just part of his shtick. It stuck really, really well, and it made him a bunch of money at the time, but he got to a point where he literally hated it. It bothered him. He didn't want to be that guy. So he stopped doing that voice and became an extremely successful writer, comic, actor. Like he's done, well, not as much acting, but he's certainly written a bunch of stuff. He's definitely done some acting, but he's written a lot of like interesting like movies. He's become a very successful individual from the standpoint of just kind of dropping something and really allowing your real, true reality to kind of form in front of you. It gives you a chance to really create that avenue. And a small example just from my life, this YouTube channel, when it first started, was totally different nature, totally different concept, what I wanted to do with it, what the name of it initially, just the whole 9 yards was vastly different. And then probably about 3 or 4 iterations, probably three iterations into it's when it kind of became Dan Radio Style. And then it became kind of video, because it used to be more of a video blog, right? A vlog or whatever. And then it kind of really started to become what it is now. And I know I'm not done in a transitioning phase. It's just something that's taking shape, and the same thing applies for me. I kind of follow how I'm feeling about things. So that was my big point in this whole long analogy, is these changes are going to come, and the one easy, true way to know that change is needed is you feel out of balance. And I don't mean when you talk to them, you get angry. No. I mean when you're sitting there by yourself and you think about being with them, or you think about the idea of being with them, there's something that just doesn't feel right. There's something that doesn't sit right with you. Explore that. Look into it. Ask yourself questions. If you can't answer those questions internally, and then maybe ask your higher self for some guidance. Maybe ask your angels, ask God, ask whatever kind of gets you to that level of you can kind of open yourself up to some advice and see what comes and shows itself. But you'll find in a lot of cases that this transition, though, may feel like we're going in a different direction, or possibly even walking away from what we are hoping to manifest, you will be surprised that sometimes we're zigging when we thought we should have zagged. And our higher self knows which direction we need to go. And it'll feel, that's how you know it's your soul or higher self talking, is it's a feeling. That's usually how it communicates with us. So when it feels that way, that's when you want to kind of give it some credit and kind of perk your ears up a little bit and go, ooh, right? And see what it's showing you. Because you will be surprised that a lot of this growth and some of these larger manifestations, relationships for sure, are life-changing things. They're people-changing. So there's usually going to be more to it than just meeting a boy or meeting a girl and, oh, we get along. It's more than that. You're going to spend your lives, you have to be like best friends. You have to be lovers. You got to, there's a whole slew of little pieces that really need to fit together properly to make a long-term, really awesome relationship. And then on top of that, people that are willing to really let it, give it their all. So it's a beautiful thing when you find all the pieces. And sometimes we need to understand something a little better so we can actually walk down this path correctly, or maybe it leads us something. Who knows? But we need to follow those paths. So when you're feeling that level of frustration, it's okay. Change is our friend. Change is going to get you there. I promise you. It's going where you want to go. It just may look weird or seem weird at the moment. Like I said in a few shows back, when things seem like they're falling apart, sometimes they're actually falling together. Or at least it has to bust apart so you can finally get this change to occur. Hopefully this all makes sense to everybody out there. Going out with a great song by Roxette. It's called Joyride. It's Dan Radio Style.